It's Friday, but don't worry, getting down remains purely optional. Welcome back to Grand Prix World and Arrow's Grand Prix. We've got a lot of comments and emails and Twitter direct messages since the last episode, which is always cool. Keep those coming in. We have the driver issue to discuss. I'm just going to check the news first to make sure no one's signed for something they shouldn't have. Alexander Wurz taking pole position last time out, but Giancarlo Fisichella ultimately clinching the win. Both of our drivers made it to the podium, which is as it should be. Pedro Diniz is unhappy with third place, and I kind of sympathise with him. Wurz got the fastest lap, so we still don't necessarily have the fastest car on one lap pace, but it seems over the race distance we are the team to beat. Carl Gaydon and Adrian Newey will be going to Williams. Rory Byrne will remain at Ferrari. Nothing else seems particularly serious. We are number one manager of the month. Of course we are. Who else would you pick at this point? So we had a pretty in-depth conversation amongst a few of us in the comment section. I got one or two emails and I got some Twitter direct messages as well. The consensus generally is, firstly, everyone's in agreement that it's pretty cool to have Fisichella here, which I agree with as well, but you all understand why I have a problem justifying keeping him. He costs us 5 million a season at the moment. He wants a pretty significant pay rise, probably to over 6 million. And Diniz is happy to continue paying us 9.6 million a season, and he's a better driver. If we look, he's significantly. Actually, they're fair. Actually, let me take a look. Let me make sure I'm not making a stupid statement here. So Diniz has 3 more points here. Fisichella has 1 more point here and 1 more point here. Diniz is better by 1. So why would we pay 6 million a season to keep him when Alexander Wurz is also statistically better than Fisichella and is less than half the price? Now, we did talk also amongst us about the Celso Moreira issue. A few of you agreeing with me that it makes for a sort of a more interesting story to take in an unproven driver. And I'm in two minds about this myself. The reason is that if we... I'll start that sentence again. I'm sorry, I'm still waking up. So, as we said from the very offset of this playthrough, your concern as a team owner should always be the Constructors' Championship. It shouldn't be about ensuring Drivers' Championships. You don't get any benefit as a team owner from winning the Drivers' Championship, and it's the same in this game. There's no real incentive for you. All you care about is coming out top of the Constructors' Championship, and that means having 2 drivers that can reliably score points. Now, Moreira is nowhere near as skilled as Fisichella, Diniz, or Wurz, and although he's been doing quite well at Ferrari, he's something of an unknown quantity. Wurz, on the other hand, will push Diniz, and what you've got then is 2 drivers fairly evenly matched like we have at the moment with Fisi, and that should result in a greater haul of points. Taking on a driver like Moreira or promoting Carl Eisen, that requires us to essentially rely entirely on the technical capabilities of the team and the quality of the car we produce. And as we know, this season we have not produced our best car. Excuse me. Now, I think the only fair and equitable method for dealing with this is to flip a coin. The other issue, of course, is if we look at Carl Eisen and compare him with Moreira, Eisen is 5 years older and he's more expensive and he's less talented. So, as much as I'd like to give him a shot in the seat simply because he's been loyal to the team for a few years now, and we've got to remember, this is something that you guys seem to share with me as well. A lot of what came through in the messages I got and it was a very consistent theme, was there is a lot of love for Pedro Diniz. He's, as someone quite rightly said, and I'm sorry I don't have my phone with me this time, so I can't I can't remember your name, but as someone quite rightly pointed out, it's been sort of the perfectly equitable exchange between us. He has put his money into the team for years and years now, and in return we have rewarded him with a car capable of delivering strong results. He hasn't historically always converted those results, though if you look at the length of his career, he has only underperformed in one season, in my opinion. There was another season that was a bit wobbly, I think 2002 maybe. Um, but yeah, 2004 he was dominant. 2003 it was 2002 he was equally matched, as I recall. 2003 was where he was totally off the boil, so that was a poor season for him. Um, and I know that during his stint with Nakano, it was very much back and forth, but our faith in him was ultimately rewarded, and he has turned into an incredible driver. I mean, he's still lacking in speed and skill, but everything else is pretty respectable. Anyway, the consistent theme was all of you were asking, please, please, please don't let Diniz go. If he leaves the team, it will be through no decision of mine. I want to keep him. I think it would be pretty special to keep him for an entire run, entire 10-season run, and see what we can do with him. See how he develops alongside the team. The other factor, of course, is going to be in terms of his bonuses. I got 2 requests actually to, when we renegotiate his contract, offer him a really significant bonus as like a reward, because he's been paying a lot of money into the team. I like that. You guys and me seem to be on the same page here, which is if someone does well for you, they should be rewarded. That's a pretty core belief of mine. I think if someone's a good friend to you, then you should be a good friend in return. And the same goes to your business relationships, your working relationships. If someone's a good and positive colleague, then you should do what you can to help them out as well. So I'm totally open to that. When Diniz's contract is up for renegotiation next season, we will tender a pretty significantly improved offer. Another question I got was, can we change the terms of his contract in terms of payment? Can we reduce his contribution to the team? Can we even make a payment to him instead of the other way round? I believe the answer is yes. But apparently I'm wrong. I honestly did think that was possible, but it seems not. I checked it just before we recorded the episode, and I was as surprised as you might imagine to discover that it wasn't possible. So we'll have to make it up to Diniz through the medium of race and championship win bonuses. So we'll figure out some fair and equitable exchange with him to reward him for his years and years of loyal service. That's not to say I'm not unhappy about letting Fisichella go. You guys know Fisichella was one of my favourite drivers of the period. When he came into the sport, he was very, very exciting, and I think his Benetton and Jordan years were pretty incredible. However, I just don't see why we pay twice as much as we would for Wurz, and a lot more than that compared to someone like Moriera. I'm going to now flip a Croatian Kuna. I don't know which one is heads. We'll say if it's the fish, then we'll sign Wurz, or try and sign Wurz first. If it is not the fish, then we will go for Moriera. I think that's equitable, because I tallied up your feedback, and it was almost down the line 50-50. But what I did notice was no super strong preference. One or two of you sort of made statements with qualifiers, like, yeah, Wurz makes sense, but Moriera would be a good story. I'm going to flip this Kuna now, and try not to drop it on the floor. Let's see what we get. Right, it looks to me very much like Alexander Wurz gets first dibs on the seat. we're very close to a deal with him as it stands. He is better than Fisichella, except in morale terms, and we'll soon turn that around. He's going to be 2 million a season cheaper than Fisichella, and he will actually not run out the entirety of the game. His contract, in theory, will expire at the end of 2007, which leaves our last season open. Moriera, on the other hand, significantly cheaper, but he was unhappy with the team conditions, as I understand it. Hold on, what did I say about the fish? Is it fish was Wirtz? I forget, but I'm pretty sure it's Wirtz that gets first dibs on the seat. Right, let's tender that offer. Apparently still not interested. Let's try this. That puts us in a difficult position now. Signing Moriera would result in a double Brazilian lineup next season. However, he wants a seat through till the end of the game, which means if he's a crap driver, if he doesn't get the results we need, we are stuck with him all the way through, and then it's up to Diniz to bring home all the points. I'm going to leave that contract on the table as a backup option, and if Wirtz turns down our next, part of me still wants to sign Eisen. It's difficult. It is difficult. Part of me still wants to sign him. I know he's crap. I know he's not even as good as Moriera, but it's that desire within me to want to reward someone who's done right by the team. And the thing is, I don't think Wirtz is going to be on the market next round. But let's see. Let's just wait and see. We're going to strengthen the design department some more. Hire some more mechanics because we have the cash. It's something that we can make happen. Which reminds me, Carl Eisen's contract is up for renewal. Yeah, I guess we should extend his contract, or we pick up someone younger. I'm not taking Lauren Ridon. You know why. Dario Loretti is offering 13.4 million for a seat. We just don't need the money. To be honest, we just don't need the money that badly. But it is interesting to see him become a pay driver. It does happen. You should always check the non-F1 drivers because they pay more than Diniz frequently. Anyway, we're leaving the driver question open for at least one more round. Commercial team, we still have work to do. I'm going to offer Dominicali 6% for 3 seasons and we'll see. No, what about you? I'm not going over 6%. I already went over my rule regarding 5%. He wants a 1-season deal. To be honest, maybe this is what we have to do. Yeah. It's only a 1-season deal, but then we'll see who we can pick up next time out. Gary Anderson is with us till 2006. He's big-time buddies with Giancarlo Fisichella, but as he's leaving the team, that means we can chase someone a little bit more skilled than old Gaza. Let's go about our business then, shall we? In the design office, our 2005 update package is coming along pretty nicely. And we're getting those all-important tech upgrades out on the car. It's pleasing to me. We've nearly completed the first design stage of the 2006 car. That too is pleasing. We're going to make a buttload of spare parts, run some sweet testing action, and by that point we should be approaching pretty perfect setup in terms of engine. I don't think there's already the engine isn't really particularly deficient in any singular area. We've taken care of the bulk of the reliability problems that we were facing. Yeah, we've got 60 million in the bank. Why not? Why not? I'm going to spend the... Actually, let me check. I've got all my projects in progress. Aha! Servo brakes. No. No dice. I think we may have reached the limitations under our current chief designer, but that's okay. We'll keep trying because we've got the money and we've got the capacity to do it. Right, we wanted to do this, didn't we? And that means we complete the first stage. Yay. Right. On the engine front, we'll be ordering our Evolution 4 power unit. I'm going to reduce the weight, improve the reliability, improve the heat tolerance, and add a bit of responsiveness because we've got Monaco coming up, and that's always helpful. On our wet weather tyres, I'm going to actually improve the softs. I think that needs to be done. And onto our Evolution 4 race fuels. We'll go for power and engine tolerance once again. Smooth. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, we've got 100% wear on cars 1 and 2 and 78% wear on car 3, so we better deal with that. It's incredible how efficient this department has become over time, actually. It really is. Just top up our spare parts because we can. Sweet. Over in Sponsor World, nothing so far on the cash front, but we're closing in nicely on that engine deal with Ford, and we're halfway to a team sponsorship deal with Murano. I was actually hoping that that deal would be signed by now due to the success card that we played, but never mind. I'm very encouraged by how our relationship with Ford is developing. Could be making more progress on the race fuel front, but that comes with time. Let's see. Sorry, I think I'm getting a cold and I had to pause the recording so I could go and like snot everywhere. It's properly grim. We're going to keep the drivers pushing as they are. In fact, we're going for this new ballsier strategy. I'm going to make both drivers a little bit more aggressive. The car seems to be able to take it. They seem to be skilled enough to handle it. Fuck it, why not? Right. What to do here? Again, we're not playing favourites. I'm gonna go equal setups again. Evolution 3 power unit, Evolution 3 race fuels, and Evolution 3 wet weather tyres are the order of the day. We're keeping Fisico on the hard compound. Diniz, on the other hand, softs all the way. And I think I'm happy with that as far as setup works go. Still no major discoveries, but that's fine. We shouldn't actually be looking at McLaren, we should be looking at Jordan. I'm going to check for active suspension, actually. And we're keeping an eye on Ferrari as well. They seem to be up there causing us trouble. Avante. 25 degrees and dry for qualifying in Argentina. I wonder what we get out of this one. Wow, did not see that coming. Seems the hard compound tyre was the one to have. Alexander Wurz collects another pole position for Ferrari, and Juan Pablo Montoya gets another second position on the grid in the Jordan. Both those drivers having a very impressive season indeed. Montoya has consistently outperformed Herbert despite being a teeny tiny bit experienced in comparison to Johnny Herbert's massive experience cock. Giancarlo Fisichella takes third on a 1:26.167. Celso Moreira lines up just behind him on a 1:26.202. Honestly, I'm going to keep an eye now on those two drivers in the race as well, because Moreira qualifying, and to be fair, it's a different car, so it's hard to quantify exactly, but qualifying similarly to Fisichella is an encouraging sign. Johnny Herbert puts his Jordan 5th. Eddie Irvine's Williams takes 6th. David Coulthard's McLaren in 7th. Michael Schumacher puts his Williams 8th. And then just behind him is the Dinizmobile, the Arrows of Pedro Diniz, taking 9th. Mika Hakkinen rounds out the top 10 for McLaren. 22 degrees and cloudy for race day. We will be one stopping our old buddy Giancarlo. And again, you know, if he starts to come on song now and begins to dominate the championship, I know the temptation is going to be there to say, well, why don't we just keep him, even though he costs 6 million? The answer to that question is that at this point the car's so dominant that any comparably skilled driver could deliver that performance, and no driver should ever be bigger than the team. That's my honest opinion. Other people feel differently. There's a lot of people who play this game solely with the goal of like teaming Hakkinen and Hill or Hakkinen and Schumacher at Minardi and winning the championship with them. Some people really believe it's all about the driver. I think historically throughout F1 you see it's actually the car for the most part. Yes, the driver needs to be able to do his part, but he's just a cog in the machine in my opinion, and some are better than others. That's fair to say, but you get better brakes than the other sets of brakes. Ultimately it's the combined package that's what matters, and the price tag for Fisico is just getting far too high. Let's make sure we put Diniz on fresh rubber as well. Run him nice and light. Right, let's see. Boom! Giancarlo Fisichella takes the win on a 1:48.46.446 ahead of teammate Pedro Diniz, who, credit to him, got up to second from 9th with an extra pit stop. Yes, he finished a good 30 seconds or so behind his teammate, but given the length of time an extra pit stop takes, I don't think that's necessarily a sign that he was overall slower. Double podium, and on the top step, no less. That's definitely where we want to be. It's what we want to have happening. Alexander Wurz takes the final podium position for Ferrari. He's quite significantly ahead of his teammate Celso Moreira in 4th. Michael Schumacher puts his Williams in 5th, and Eddie Irvine's Williams rounds off the points with a healthy 6th. Johnny Herbert falls outside the points in his Jordan. It seems there was another DNF for Juan Pablo Montoya. Yes, there was. Engine failure taking him out. A few accidents as well. Both Benettons, Takagi and Nakano, suffering accidents during the race, as does Johnny Newhouse in the Minardi. Sad times indeed. Pretty dominant performance all in all. Can't really fault it. It does seem that the McLarens are starting to even out in terms of performance. They tend to finish roughly where they qualify. The Jordans seem to have it all in the bag in qualifying, but in the race they just lack the pace. Ferrari seem to have the complete package, and Williams have old school arrows going on, which is qualifying poorly and moving forwards during the race. Good on them. That's what we wanted to see. That's exactly what I wanted to see. In the Drivers' Championship, Giancarlo Fisichella and Pedro Diniz are perfectly tied, 20 points apiece, top of the pile. Second place, although here he's obviously marked as third, is Alexander Wurz on 10 points. Montoya and Schumacher tie in fourth position on 6 points apiece. Irvine and Hakkinen tie for 6 on 4 points apiece as well. Coulthard and Moriera tie for 8th, and Johnny Newhouse and Johnny Herbert also tie for 10th position. It's a close season. In the Constructors' Championship, we continue to lead 40 points to our name, whereas Ferrari suffer on a meagre 13 points and Williams on a frankly depressing 10. Joint 4th position ties McLaren and Jordan, perhaps unfairly to Jordan, but what can you do? And Minardi take the final classified position in the Constructors with a singular point. Right, let's see if anyone's signed anywhere. Another win for Giancarlo Fisichella, of course, and Alexander Wurz taking the pole position. Pedro Diniz wants to win, and I do not blame him. Alexander Wurz got the fastest lap. That actually was a surprise. That caught me out there. Jean Alesi will be going to Minardi. That's impressive. Signs of things to come from Minardi, it seems. I wonder if they're keeping Villeneuve as well. That would be pretty cool. Okay, in Driverland, let's see if we can't tie up this contract. I'm going to extend an offer of 1.2 million championship bonus. Final offer. And then we take Moriera. Done. Alexander Wurz will be becoming 2 arrows as joint number 1 driver for 2006-2007. I am going to pick up... Well, not pick up. I'm going to reward Carl Eisen with a 2-year extension to his contract. And maybe we'll put him in a race seat for the final season of this playthrough. I think that could be quite funny. No, he wants a longer contract. Oh well, we'll see. In the commercial department, we're going to do some hiring, but no firing, because we have the cash. You'll notice that we are spending our money now. We're not running at 17 million anymore, but you know, 15.7 isn't that much different. Just going to keep hiring, going to keep making progress. Let's pop over to the design office and see what's going on. We've completed the second stage of our design by round 4. We still don't know if the car's legal. Oh, that's right, we need to hire a wind tunnel. How stupid of me. And our new front wing will be complete by round 6, I think. No. Round 4, round 5. Yeah, round 6. Another technology upgrade to throw on the car. Now we've got the reliability up to at least 3. I'm going to focus on performance. Particularly suspension and brakes. To my mind, they're the ones that offer the most benefit. Let's put that new technology to work. Testing time. Yeah, we're going to spend a buttload of... We're just going to do maximum testage. I just... Why not? We have masses of cash. Let's do 20, 20, 20... Yeah, why not? See if we can't fill up our points on the race fuels a little bit quicker, and then we can use those testing points elsewhere. Evolution 5 power unit. Powering through now, guys. We're going to do that, I think. And I think, yeah, one more run and change, and we will have the best engine that Ford can produce. That's good. Let's give Fisichella a tyre compound improvement as well. Boom. Jobbed. And another evolution of race fuels is required. So we've got basically a fraction of one more test to complete on the engine, 1.5 tests to run on the race fuel, and we're almost there with the tyres as well. At that point, our expenditure will drop pretty significantly because we're no longer spending $1 million around on testing. But this is basically how Ferrari got to the top and stayed there. I mean, they were testing every weekend at one stage. It is expensive, but you only need to look at the results historically to see how it pays off. McLaren as well were testing pretty much endlessly during their period of dominance. What I like is that we've been getting the finishes as well. That's always good. Historically, we've always had one driver suffering a period of bad luck with multiple DNFs and things. It's good to see that isn't panning out that way this time. On the team deal, I'm going to drop the TV advantage. We've got the works deal in place with Ford. I'm going to sign that up right away. Not going to spend an advantage card on it. Instead, I am going to just leave 20% of the guys on there and try and get us a better deal. And the success ticket. Let's take 10% of these guys away, and we'll try and get Danker to re-sign. And I'll drop the success ticket on to Mobile One, and just try and get us the best deal we can quickly. We'll keep the sponsors we invite for hospitality as they are. Don't need to do anything over at the bank. Yeah, I think we can basically call that an episode. We've just got one more race to run. Just make sure I've ordered everything and done everything that we should be doing. I always feel like I've forgotten something, but apparently not. Smashing. Okay. Still haven't done very much with the commercial licensing, but it's just such a small amount of cash. I'm not going to turn down the aggressiveness of either driver since they were able to deliver a pretty stellar performance regardless. I'm going to favour Diniz. Just because I think he needs a little boost, and I want to keep the drivers fairly evenly matched, if I can. Evolution 4 power unit, Evolution 4 race fuel, and Fisichella does get a new compound of hard tyre, whereas actually so does Diniz. How does he already got that? Oh, I did the soft tyre first. Idiot. That's why. Okay, so maybe we shouldn't have favoured Diniz in the setup front, but never mind. Now he's got no excuse not to come home in front. We have discovered some active suspension on the Jordan. We're going to complain about it and hopefully get them disqualified. I could tell they were running active suspension by how fast they were in qualifying. We'll check them for traction control as well, although I doubt they have it. I think that's us. 28 degrees, very dry, with a strong wind for qualification. Let's check everyone's set up and repaired and stuff. Let's dance. Alexander Wurz claims another pole for Ferrari, and this time it's the Jordan of Johnny Herbert that lines up second. Jordan killing it in qualifying. Wurz putting in a pole time of 1:25.9. Johnny Herbert a 1:25.978. In third, Pedro Diniz for Arrow is 1:26.094. Juan Pablo Montoya continues his strong run in qualifying, taking only 9 laps to put in a 4th place positioning on a 1:26.356. Giancarlo Fisichella puts his Arrows 5th on a 1:26.466, out qualifying potential teammate next season, Celso Moreira, in the Ferrari. Johnny Newhouse qualifies spectacularly well for Minardi, putting his car 7th. David Coulthard, Eddie Irvine and Mika Hakkinen complete the top 10. Irvine's been outperforming Schumacher pretty consistently in qualifying, but sadly that hasn't converted to the race. Bottom of the pile remains the Prosts, the Stewarts and the Tyrrells. Unlucky. 26 degrees, very dry. So no changeable conditions, that's good. I think our dry compound tyres on this occasion are much stronger than our intermediates, although the wets are looking pretty tasty. Not going to change anything about either of the cars, we're just going to smash it. 31 lap stint in order for Giancarlo Fisichella. I still think he could potentially win this if his qualifying pace was so comparatively good. And he's saving himself a pit stop. Hoping for another close finish between our guys. Let's see if they deliver. Pedro Diniz takes the win for Arrows on 135, 21575. Alexander Wurz converts his... Again, he's been very strong all season. He qualifies on pole usually and then finishes right behind us. He puts his Ferrari in second on a 135, 44473. Michael Schumacher turns around his poor qualifying form yet again to take the final podium position for Williams. Johnny Herbert converts his second place on the grid to a fourth place finish for Jordan. Celso Moreira, fifth for Ferrari, and David Coulthard moves forward in the race as well to finish sixth, taking that final all-important point. Giancarlo Fisichella had an accident, unfortunately. Engine failure took out Shinji Nakano's Benetton, Stefan Sarazan's Tyrrell, and Jan Magnussen's Stewart. Hydraulic failure took Juan Pablo Montoya's Jordan out again. He's got a lot of DNFs to his name right now, and a driver error from Ricardo Rossi, no surprise there, took him out of the race as well. In the Drivers' Championship, Pedro Diniz now leads teammate Giancarlo Fisichella by 10 points. That was a painful DNF for Fisi, I think. The gap back to Alexander Wurz is slashed to 4 points as well, and Michael Schumacher sits fourth on 10 points. Juan Pablo Montoya sits fifth on 6. In the Constructors' Championship, Arrows dominate still on 50 points, Ferrari second on 21, and Williams on 14 stays third. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining. I hope you're having a pleasant Friday thus far. I will be back shortly with some Minardi coverage, and there's going to be some Hearts of Iron 4, and there's going to be some F1 2016 on the upload train today as well, but you won't see those for a few days because the internet is stupid. Thank you so much for joining and for commenting and for your involvement all the way through this playthrough. It really is a pleasure to bring it to you. You guys have an awesome weekend, and I will talk to you again later today and tomorrow. Bye bye.